Hello, this is the 26th episode. We're composing from scratch. Today we're going to focus on harmonies, so let's jump into that. Here is our track. Here's the harmonies that, or here's the line that we're going to be harmonizing. So let's get to work. And I'm going to take the trumpet 2 here as like our little workstation. Let's go ahead and just copy paste it into a new one. And I might even just go, if we're just going this far anyways, let's just bring it somewhere else. And we're just going to put it on a piano. Something that has a nice big range that will let us go ahead and write pretty freely. So we'll jump in here, take off the brass, we'll put on piano, and we will take the first piano I recognize. Gentlemen. Excuse me. There we go. And let's solo this out. So let's take this first part. Let's just say we move it up minor third. And let's take that up an octave as well, so we have some separation to listen to. Oof, if we're doing this trial and error, it's going to be a long haul. And we have the guitar handy for this exact situation. I'm not plugging it in DI. Well, you know, I could. Let's just go ahead and plug it in. You'll hear all my bad playing and guessing here. That's what I'm guessing. So it would be. This is going to be a long trial and error if I'm not figuring something out here. Even that, not in love with. And again, we're just kind of moving, we're just clearing the board when we do this, but we're trying to put in just a guess based off just hearing the relationship. Funny. We're doing this all off the C minor there. So we're starting on the second. I don't even know how bad out of tune this is. getting closer to something interesting. Let's see. I suppose it was. Well, no, it wasn't. It was on the C. What if we did it on the... something like that. So let's take it out solo. Okay, and let's just listen without that. Then we did the last one, a minor third up. Okay, now let's try to build below now. We're just kind of matching the velocities for these. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-dun. It's just all the way down. Just this is gonna be a pain in the butt. I already know it. Let's see if that works. Let's give it a shot. Let's go to the baritone trombone. Let's take this off and let's put this on. And of course, we're looking at the lower octave. Yes, I know. I deleted some keystrokes, but they will be added back as needed. I'm liking that. Now, if I remember correctly, we had the synth trumpets, and they were supporting the trumpets. The tenor trombone had the was it the alto sax, and then the bass trombone had the baritone sax. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and open up the. Oops, no, do not do the track. Let's open up the higher octave to this one. Is it an F? Yeah, so. Okay, so we have a significantly different section already. Let's go ahead and grab that alto sax. And let's bring this down. So, tenor trombone. These saxes are completely bone dry. So if we're gonna leave the bassoon and clarinet, let's bring it over so it matches with this. Let's put them far on the outside. we're mixing a little bit. We're just trying to get the flavor right to make sure that the whole thing's gonna sit well. Oh, what's the easiest way to make this work? Would it be to cut off the last notes? And then we could heal this. That might not be a bad plan. Just to detach that, worry about it separately. There's our stinger right there. So we're really looking at running this part 3 times. So let's just start focusing on it like that. So, and we can delete these. We'll do 2 at a time. Boom. There's, wow, that's vastly different. Vastly different. Good to know. Maybe this would be more fitting. Yeah, let's drop this down. Alright. Now we're looking at trumpet and alto sax. Or tenor trombone, alto sax. Did I say trumpet? My apologies if I did. Oh, hold up. We're going to delete it later. I just feel like it makes more sense to leave it for the moment. We got all 4 of these, so let's go ahead and zoom back in. That one. Whoa. Chill out. What are you doing? Drop that last dun dun. We do dun 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 dun. Is it worth taking out the cello there? Oops. Maybe it's worth taking out the right note. Beep boop beep. just forgot to move that one apparently. Dang, it's the wrong thing there too. Why? Why am I? Well, I know why. It's because I'm imagining the stinger right there. Woodblock. Still not done with that last part there. The outro needs help. We'll figure out a good way to get out of there. But the question is the Harmonies doing their job? Or are the Harmonies doing their job? So let's take it from the top. Sorry, I had a little repeat measure set up. That little drop there is going to need some love. It's going to need something to fill it in a little better. Now we talked about doing some layers on this. So let's go ahead and let's see. The heck is so weird for that to appear. Well, let's go ahead and take this down to the bassoon. That's what I thought. Can we keystroke it appropriately? All right. And we're going to go into mod wheel. Fair enough. So it would appear we're going to have to go into the mod wheel of more than one event. And we'll go ahead and write it. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm liking that. Hop over into this one. Well, not that far. Just start at the beginning of the phrase. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. I still think a flute, piccolo, or both would sound good on this. Okay. Well, I think we're getting to a reasonable point here. What time are we looking at here? 40 minutes. We still have some time. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the volume automation for the string drum. So let's solo the string drum for that. let's actually say 4 over, not 2. But am I feeling that? Maybe we'll leave it a little low. Let's bring it back. Okay, so I think that is a reasonable little automation for that. We're just kind of taking it away, certain parts. And then we bring in a little extra for that drop. Comes back out for the chorus. Comes back in for the drop. And then the verse has a little bit of a build up. Holds at the bridge. Then the verse, it keeps going, and then the double chorus, it starts to fade. We can maybe do something like this, just to give a little more of a rise in the verse. Let's take it back, take a look at this. Bring some of these rattles out. I would even say for this part we can drop it. Should I get like a cough button where I can mute the thing so I don't have to hear this? I was considering doing it. Sorry, I was thinking about a cough button. Let's go back and rerun that. Listen to our texture and strings here. I know they're going to be going a little wily. Okay. Dig in with that. I'm playing with the ideas here, and we're getting somewhere. So, we are having a little problem with right here. Let's open up the mod wheel and we'll go ahead and program it full volume. Let's listen to it from the top. Spell piccolo. CCOLO. swing and a hit. Oops. Alright, I'm pretty happy with what we've gotten so far. I did just add 4 instruments, and that would be the piccolo, the flute, double bass, and tuba. Those are the 4 instruments that I'm still imagining for this. I'm thinking the tuba and the double bass are just really adding to the pulse of that bump, 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 bump. And I think those might be the last instruments we add. We might add a little bit more, well, we are going to add sound effects, and we might add a little more like clicky-clacky percussion kind of stuff, just for texture. But I think we're kind of getting to a point where I'm not really adding anything useful, and we're starting to just kind of add to add. Those elements, those 4 tracks, the piccolo and the flutes would be like a very high register, like kind of giving a little more chordal range to what's happening, especially on that bridge section. That's like that. It's a little bit more like it's the only place that's not staccato in this song, and so I want maybe something there, and it could add a little bit of like reassurance to the main line. Maybe I'll take out the trumpets and I'll put those in, and we can have the bassoon, clarinet, and the flute and piccolo do it the first time, because I'm still not happy with that. And then the tuba and double bass, like I said, just doubling up those low end. But we will get that on the next one. I think we're going to call it here, about 55 minutes, a little short of an hour. I appreciate everyone for watching. Feel free to throw a like down there. Give me a sub if you want to see the next one, which will likely be tomorrow. Yeah, this one we're kind of rounding the bases here. I have a feeling the processing and stuff like that will not be the longest. I think we're just gonna kind of get it a little more consistent and throw it through the usual ringer. And once we're kind of through that, I think we're just gonna go ahead and throw this in the portfolio, and we'll look at what we're gonna do next. Like I said, I appreciate everyone who's been checking it out. There's so many views on the first one of the series, and I feel bad that it wasn't better. I'm still looking at ways to improve, so if you have any ideas for me, anything that you'd like to see, please just leave a comment, just let me know. And until I see you next time, I thank you. I appreciate it for watching. Peace.